right, welcome back, everybody. Here we go. It's a mock draft number 4. So I thought I'd do another mock draft. We got it official that the buddies, Jay and Adam, are taking the number 2 spot in our draft. So now that we've had a few weeks of training camp started, people are showing up, we are finding out who holdouts are, suspensions looming, potentially. So I thought I'd do a quick mock draft here. So it's going to look very similar to you guys in the sense that, as you see, we have the keepers added into the sleeper draft. The draft app there, and then I will use the fantasy footballers screen there, screenshots for kind of the ranking, kind of where the players are that I'm talking about. I did use a combination of the fantasy footballers and the sleeper apps ranking when I was making some of these picks, just on some of those guys I was a little unsure of, kind of going back and forth, maybe see who had which player higher, and then making my decision based on that. So that's kind of where some of it came from. The main difference this time is I did do all the picks ahead of time. This way I thought maybe I could cut down on my thinking time. I don't want to sit there and edit the crap out of this and cut it down. So I thought I would do them ahead of time and then kind of explain my picks. So it's going to be a little different in that sense. But other than that, not much new there. Before I do get into showing you who I picked for everybody's keepers and then the draft itself, the season's going to start soon. So August 1st, as usual, is our pre-draft trading period. So during August 1st to August 22nd, if you want to trade with anybody in the league, I just posted in the chat in the app there. I'll go in and make the changes. So if you do trade draft picks, make sure that it's an even number going back and forth. And then any player you trade for, you are expected to keep unless you end up trading him away for whatever reason. So that's kind of the rules. It does count as your first keeper for that player if you do acquire him in the pre-draft trading period. So it does limit you down to 2 seasons versus 3. So that's the real difference there. I think that's it for that stuff. I am going to put in the email that I'm going to send out here soon about the draft date and time. A couple of our players are going to be away in Europe. So draft time doesn't really work. So I'll explain it all in the email. Keep an eye out for it there if you are watching. So I think that's all of that. Okay, I'm going to go through everyone's keepers. See who I picked for everybody. I'll try and give a brief explanation why, and then I will hop into the draft. So again, I've picked all these ahead of time, so we'll see how it goes. I don't know if I'm going to be a fan of it yet, but we'll break it down. So, okay, we'll start off with the keepers. So it should be on your screen. For myself, I have Jamar Chase and Brian Thomas Jr., who I've said all along. The buddies, I went with H.N. and Kyron Williams. Wayne, I do like this combination better. I'm going with Drake London and Ladd McConkey. Gives them 2 possible top 10 receivers. I can draft a running back early, go from there. We got Jen up next with Joe Burrow and Juwan Jennings. Sunil just been sticking with Mixon and McLaurin. I know McLaurin maybe holding in, holding out, but it's just July 25th, so who knows. Next I got Richard, still with Jameson Williams and Trey McBride. I really don't know who other than McBride he'll take. Like, I'm solid McBride's his pick, but beyond that I don't really know. There's a few options there, but I'm sticking with Williams for now. Ty, got Garrett Wilson, Sam Laporta. I'm not sold on Sam Laporta as a keeper, but again, you could go Brian Robinson Jr., but he's kind of a 7th round pick anyway, so I don't really know. But I guess it gives him some value because by the time he's the 7th, that's about the 6th round. So a little bonus there maybe. Next up is Jeremy with Jefferson and Bowers. I don't know who else to pick for him, so I think that's pretty good. Rob, I'm sticking with Amon-Ra St. Brown and TJ Hawkinson. Nothing against guys like Pacheco and that on his team. I just think Hawkinson's value there will be pretty good. Day I'm sticking with Neighbors and Hubbard. I just think the value of Hubbard being a 10th round keeper is the smart move. It allows him to go either receiver or running back there at the start of the first. Next up is Tom with CeeDee Lamb and James Conner. He could go receiver here. Addison's now suspended, so I took that one out. Conner gives him a steady running back, probably high end number 2 on any team, so this can let him go either way in the rounds 2 and 3. So I kind of like that option for him, unless he wants to keep Derrick Henry as a second rounder. That's always an option too. And then Dallas is next there with Nico Collins and Puka Nacua. Chase Brown's kind of sitting there for him as a 7th rounder. Maybe he does that. Maybe he trades him away. Wait and see, I guess. But I think he's going to go 2 receivers, maybe get a couple running backs, or at least 1 running back at the turn, at the 1-2 turn there. So we'll see how that plays out. So about 6 minutes in, I'm going to try and wrap this up in roughly 20 minutes, but we'll see. Let's see how it goes, eh? All right. So we'll hop into round 1. As you see, I am taking Bijan Robinson. It's who I've said all along who I'm taking. I don't see why I would take anybody else. I can have Jamar Chase and Bijan, who are consensus, both top 3 players in any redraft. So I think that's the smartest thing I can do there. Don't get cute, don't trade down, don't do anything like that. So I think that's what I'll stick with. Next up, we have the Buddies. As I said, they got Achane and Williams. So I was looking at the board there. Top receivers, AJ Brown. Is that the way they want to go? I'm looking at the board and I see Jahmyr Gibbs there. I think he's the best player on the board there left. So for that reason, I gave the Buddies Jahmyr Gibbs. Then you start off with 3 players who are all top 10 in their position. So and the other 2 guys are late picks, right? So he can go receiver heavy for as long as he wants now, and he's pretty much set to start the year at running back. I thought I'd change it up there, kind of see how that drops the board a little bit, right? So next up we have Wayne. Wayne, as I mentioned, kept Drake London and Ladd McConkey. Again, 2 guys potential top 10, top 12 receivers. I think it's a really good start for Wayne. They have good value. Drake London's 2nd rounder. He's going end of first right now, I believe, in most mock drafts. Then we got Ladd McConkey. Sorry, my screen went black. Ladd McConkey's probably going 2nd rounder, so he gets him as an 8. So that's a good keep there. So I went running back for Wayne, and I went Christian McCaffrey. I think Wayne kind of having that old school 49ers, Joe Montana feel for it. Is going to go with the 49er and take Christian McCaffrey. They don't have a whole lot of receiver right now, so maybe that's a great start for McCaffrey for Wayne, and maybe he'll be healthy, and then he'll be the one laughing at us, right? So I gave Wayne Christian McCaffrey. Next up, we have Jen. I went with Joe Burrow and Juwan Jennings. So I went a little bold on this one. I think keeping that for Jen is pretty good. Burrow's probably a top 3 quarterback if everything plays out like everybody says. Jennings is right now a receiver 2, maybe at most, top 20. Like I said, there's a couple guys there maybe she could keep, but I kind of like Jennings there, but now he's holding out for more money maybe. So maybe Pearsall's the guy. We'll see. Who knows? It's July. So I went running back, and I went Genty for her. I know Barkley's there, but with 2,000 yards last year, there's usually some regression. So I went Genty for Jen. Next up, who's next? Sunil. I did Mixon and McLaurin. Again, that's that 3rd, 4th round keepers. He's got 2 picks in the 2nd round from his trade with Richard. In the last couple mock drafts, I'd given him a receiver here to start, and I really didn't like how that played out for him in the 2nd round. So, excuse me, got the hiccups. So I decided to go running back for Sunil. I don't see Barkley falling past here. I mean, that's already 5 running backs in a row at this point now, if you include him. So I can't imagine him falling any further. So I give Sunil Saquon Barkley. Again, top guy, he's probably still going to be a top 5 running back at worst, right? So unless he gets hurt, but hopefully not. Next up we have Richard. Richard, as I mentioned, gave Jameson Williams and Trey McBride. So Jameson Williams, probably top 15 receiver by the end of the year is going to be my guess. And then you got Trey McBride, who's a top 2 tight end there. So based on that, I thought Richard would want to have kind of the last of those top running backs, and I gave him, well, I guess there was 2, but I gave him the younger one. So I gave him Bucky Irving. So that's 6 running backs in a row. I didn't think of that as I was doing this. It just kind of the way it played out and with what I thought everybody needed. So I gave Richard Bucky Irving. Next up, we got Ty. Yeah, Ty. Ty has Garrett Wilson and Sam Laporta. So Wilson again is probably top 10, top 12 receivers. Sam Laporta could be a top 5, top 4 tight end if Goff and him hit it off this year. Maybe they use him a little more, spread the ball out. So he could have gone either way. He could have taken like an AJ Brown here, give him 2 good running backs or 2 good receivers to go with the tight end. But I thought for him, he would kind of like Derrick Henry, elite running back, kind of fell in our draft here, fell to him. I know he's a little older, but he's still the Yeti, right? So I don't think Ty would pass up on that. So I gave Derrick Henry to Ty. So that made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 running backs in a row, which I did not expect to see. So next up was Jeremy with his keeper of Justin Jefferson. So next up was Rob. As I said, Rob has Amon-Ra and TJ Hawkinson. So again, there's a couple guys here I was looking at, like could you go Chase Brown, could you go AJ Brown, Josh Jacobs, T. Higgins. I kind of liked all the options there, but thinking Rob, maybe want to be part of a higher powered offense where, they're really touting this running back quite well. So I gave him Chase Brown. So assuming a couple guys below there were hoping he'd fall. They're pumping up Chase Brown already, but again, it's July, so who knows. So Chase Brown to Rob. Next up we have Dave. I have Malik Neighbors in round 2 and Chuba Hubbard in round 10. So again, Dave could have gone either way, running back or receiver, but looking at the board here, the running back is now like Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor. Maybe it would be a good spot for Jonathan Taylor, but I thought kind of out of those top receivers left, AJ Brown was there, right? So that'd been all running backs at this point, 8 in a row. Someone's got to take the next receiver. So I gave Dave AJ Brown to add with Neighbors and Hubbard. I thought it was a pretty good start. All right, who's up? Tom's up next. Tom was keeping CeeDee Lamb. So moving on to Dallas. Dallas had Nico Collins and Puka Nacua. So again, Dallas has 2 picks in a row here. So you can go either way on the first or second one. I think in the last one I'd given him Jonathan Taylor, so I just thought I'd change it up this time and went with Josh Jacobs. He was higher ranked in one of the things I was looking at there. So I thought I'd give him Jacobs. Then I'd follow that up with T. Higgins. I thought Dallas might like Higgins. Cincinnati's got a pretty high-powered offense. Maybe, Jamari gets hurt. Then, T. Higgins takes off, right? So that's what I did there for Dallas with Josh Jacobs and T. Higgins in round 2. Before I carry on, let's take a little pause. We'll go through who I picked for everybody in round 1 there. So to start off, I took Bijan Robinson. Then the buddies took Jahmyr Gibbs. Wayne has McCaffrey, Ashton Genty, Sunil with Saquon Barkley, Bucky Irving for Richard, Ty took Derrick Henry. Justin Jefferson was a keeper for Jeremy. Rob went Chase Brown. Dave stopped the trend and took our first receiver off the board and went with AJ Brown. Then Tom kept CeeDee Lamb, followed by Dallas with Josh Jacobs. So looking at that board, that's 10, or I guess 9 running backs were drafted, 1 receiver. Just kind of everybody's keeps, you know, a lot of receivers kept, so it's not surprising that this is a possibility that there could be a big run on running backs in our first round. Next up in round 2 after Dallas taking T. Higgins is Tom. I think with Tom having CeeDee Lamb and James Conner, he could take a receiver here, which is what I did, and gave him Marvin Harrison Jr. You know, number 1 receiver on that team. Year 2, he should only get better. So that's why I gave him to Tom. And then followed by that, we got Dave. Dave is keeping league neighbors, so nice and easy. Next up, we got Rob. So Rob, as I mentioned, kept Amon-Ra St. Brown and Hawkinson. So Hawkinson, in my mind, is probably the 3rd, 4th tight end. And then we got Amon-Ra, who's top 5 receiver. We gave him Chase Brown, who people are talking about could be a top 5 running back this year. So he's got a good mix. So I thought I'd go receiver for Rob. I thought I'd change it up. Thought maybe of going a running back, but I did go receiver for Rob and took Jackson Smith and Jigba. Thought that would kind of fit better into his roster there. I know he doesn't have a pick in the 3rd round, so his 4th round's a little far away, but there could be some of those rookie running backs out there at that time maybe he's liking, or maybe those kind of pass-catching running backs that are good in our PPR leagues. So that's why I went that way. Jeremy, with having Jefferson and Bowers, I figured needed to get one of those running backs right now. I didn't want him to wait another, what's that, about 16 picks or so, right? So that's a long time to come back. So with that, I gave him Jonathan Taylor. Next up was Ty. So Ty again had Garrett Wilson, Sam Laporta, and drafted Derrick Henry. It's a little risky of a pick, but I thought that's kind of where we were at these receivers here. They're all could be fairly similar. So based on wanting to have a bounce back year, kind of prove himself, I thought Ty would take Tyreek Hill. So no other reason, just I think Tyreek Hill is kind of on a redemption year kind of thing. So I think he's going to push for it there. Next up we have Sunil. With 2 picks in a row. So this is why I thought it'd be great with taking Saquon in the 1st and then having McLaurin and Mixon. He could easily just take 2 receivers, and have his top 5 set already. So like I said, so for the first one there, I gave him Mike Evans, and then I followed it up with DJ Moore. So I thought they were pretty well even receivers. Gives him 3 really good receivers: McLaurin, Evans, and Moore. And then he has Barkley and Mixon. So Mixon's a little bit more high risk, but I think it's a pretty balanced start. I wouldn't complain if I had a team like that myself, but I don't, so maybe I will complain. Anyway, next up we are back to Jen. So as I mentioned before, Jen took Genty in the 1st, and then had kept Joe Burrow and Jawan Jennings. So I know at this point she is a little thin at receiver, but I think she's, in my mind, looking at the board, kind of seeing what we need. Wayne's got a keeper. You know, I got 2 receivers already. Maybe I go running back. Maybe I go 1 running back, 1 receiver at the turn. The buddies have lots of running backs, so they're probably going to go receiver, maybe a tight end or a quarterback, but it doesn't seem like that's on brand for them. We're pretty much a late quarterback league, even with their Josh Allens and Lamar Jacksons out there. So this way I went running back for her. Actually, I thought kind of what was left in the receivers were all in a big group. So to me, her taking a running back here made sense, and then she could take any one of those receivers that are left who are kind of all in that same tier in my mind. So I gave her Alvin Kamara. I thought he was the next best running back left there. I think he's a little high risk, but yeah, but it's what it is, right? Next up we have Wayne. Wayne had Drake London as his keeper. And then we are now at the Buddies. The Buddies have lots of running backs in Kyron Williams, Devon Achane, and now Jahmyr Gibbs. You know, now we're looking at it, like I mentioned, they're probably going to go wide receiver. They're looking at my team. I've already got 2 in a running back. I got 2 picks at the turn. You know, who do they like the most? And who do they think they can wait on? Again, do they think that all the running backs are the same tier? And they're like, I'll just take who I like. So yeah, so with that kind of thought process, I went with Devonta Adams, steady receiver, good quarterback. As I mentioned before, he's all about himself based on the Netflix video. So yeah, why not give him to the Buddies and, you know, have him as their wide receiver 1 and see who comes around on the turn in like 3 picks. So next up is mine. So we are going to end here at the end of the round 2 today. But I will give you my 3rd round pick, just show it there on the board so you guys can kind of get an idea of what I was thinking this time. Doesn't mean I'm going to do the same, you know, in actual, but kind of what I'm thinking now. So, as I mentioned, I had Brian Thomas Jr., Jamar Chase, Bijan Robinson. I think that's really good base to have a hero RB kind of team. Bijan Robinson is slated to be top 2-3 kind of running back. Chase, top 2-3 receiver. Brian Thomas Jr., top 10 receiver. So I decided to go a little off the board. We are in a passing league, so I decided I was going to go 2 receiver. I thought that'd be a little bit more on brand for me, and then kind of see who comes back at the end of 4 or 5 turn there. Maybe get lucky, maybe a rookie running back is there. Maybe one of those PPR running backs that are solid are there. Kind of play the board a little bit, but I kind of like the idea of taking 2 receivers here. Just kind of wanted to see how it played out. Ended up taking Devonta Smith, and then I followed it up with Cortland Sutton. So I think both guys have a good chance, if they're healthy, to put up a lot of points. Maybe not top 10 receivers, but maybe in that 10 to 15 range. And then I would have 4 top 15 receivers and a top 3 running back. It's kind of a strategy I was thinking about and thought that'd be kind of fun. So yeah, so that was a draft. It's a little bit shorter by about 10 minutes or so, but not quite as fun. I do enjoy doing it the other way a little more. Yeah, just kind of my opinion there. On the screen, as I wrap up the video here, you'll see everybody's picks. I'm not going to go through them all. If you followed along, you kind of got an idea. So if you are from my league and you are looking at these videos, you know, take it as some stock. Here's some ideas of what you're thinking, depending on who you're keeping. Here's how the first couple rounds could play out, some of the players that are in these rounds based on rankings that are out there. So have a great one, everybody. We'll talk to you soon, and keep enjoying summer. Okay, bye.